So Erica's practice today took us deep inside, and I'd like to take us back into that mind frame for today's blessings and prayers. Listening to this kind of internal space deep, deep, deep within us. So I'm going to, for today's practice, a little different again, try to mix it up each month. I'm going to ask you all a series of questions. There are 5 questions that are inspired by Julia Cameron's book, Seeking Wisdom, A Spiritual Path to Creative Connection. If any of you have ever come across Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist Way, and has written a lot of different things about creativity. So sticking with this idea of creativity. The questions use the word God, but if that name doesn't resonate for you, it's no problem ever around here. Please feel free to swap out in your head a name or a spiritual concept that works better for you in the questions. And as I read them, I'm going to ask you to do is to tune into snippets of thoughts that come forth. Snippets of thoughts that you don't over intellectualize, a word that comes up and feels like it's out of place, or it's quirky, or I couldn't say that in public, or that's not fully formed, or any of these kind of things that we do to quash our creativity, to let that internal critic or censor just have a few minutes off, and to write into the chat what comes to mind for you. And I'll ask Phil if you could open the chat for folks so that they have the ability to type in. So we're going to do that for 4 questions, and then the 5th one will be anyone you'd like to ask prayers for today. Okay, sound fair enough? So take a deep breath. And here is the first question. As a child, I thought God was, fill in the blank. As a child, I thought God was big, an old man, I thought God was female. Other folks said they thought God was a man. God was love. God was a loving father, someone big in the sky, someone mean because he didn't let the animals go to heaven. As a child, I thought God was our father, angry, or an invisible force. God was all of these things, all these ideas, punishing. A comic book character. I thought God was a comic book character. I thought God was energy. In the air, everywhere. All right, moving on to the second question. I pushed this God away when, ... I pushed this God away when. I pushed this God away when the tractors came and took down the bunny woods next to my church, and God didn't protect those bunnies. In the chat, I thought I pushed God away when I thought I was unwanted, when my family fell apart, when I didn't get what I wanted. Whew. When I saw my turtle friends slaughtered and eaten for dinner and I was 7. Push this God away when. Some folks have not pushed God away. Some have when people were killed at war or their family member died. Some people didn't push God away, but their concept grew. This is common. I pushed God away when Santa and the Tooth Fairy went away, and the Easter Bunny, and all of that. Or when I learned more. All right, third question. If I wasn't so scared, I would ask God to If I wasn't so scared, I would ask God to. And sometimes takes a little more thought to arise from within. If I wasn't so scared, I would ask God to help me. Yeah. I would ask God to return to us. I wasn't so scared, I'd talk about God more in public. Yeah. Or to heal me 100%. And to make everyone allergic to eating meat. I would talk about God if I really knew him. Yeah. All right, last one. Oh, to give me the courage to take the big actions I needed to take. Yes. And the last question here before the prayer question. If it didn't feel so darn silly, I'd ask God to ... If it didn't feel so darn silly, I would ask God to return us all to the creativity we had as first graders, if it didn't feel so darn silly. I would ask him to unify all people, to defy the laws that God set in motion, to stop wars, to stop cruelty, to heal the heart of Vladimir Putin. Erica would ask God to dinner. Can I come? And ask God to help me gain weight or to change human nature, to help people remember they can talk to animals. Amen. What I see in your responses here is a lot of complexity, a lot of curiosity, a lot of the duality also we see in answers. God is love, God is punishing, asking is scary, asking is silly, all of these things existing. Thank you. Thank you for raising your hand in the chat like a little first grader and answering these questions that we have posed. And finally, today, if there's anyone that you would like to ask for prayers for, please also feel free to throw those into the chat as Phil brings up our group prayer-ish meditation, that meditation, as Thomas mentioned, that we can find in every tradition. Here it goes, folks. And we're also going to say a prayer within here for the robin that Debbie found yesterday. Yeah. Who managed to complete their migration all the way to Winnipeg only to die after striking a window. Prayers for all that are affected by toxic capitalism and all of the animals displaced in the Ukraine. Prayers for anything that is weighing heavily on your heart as we say together, may all creatures everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of our lives contribute to this happiness and to this freedom for all. May it be so. Amen. So mote it be. And so it is. Ashe. Amen. All of our beautiful closing words. Thank you for this moment back in deep inside of ourselves, extending our compassion out.